Good Saturday morning. The time is 6 a.m. Thank you so much for waking up with us this morning as we take a live look over Horsetooth Reservoir up in northern Colorado as we see the sunrise. If you're up right now, you beat the sun. Thanks so much for joining us again. Good morning. I'm Mark Salinger, joined with Corey Reppenhagen this morning in the Arvada Front Yard Bureau. Corey, how's it looking out there in the...
Hey, good morning, Mark. It's looking great out here. Yeah, the sun is just starting to peek up over the horizon there, so we'll get some daylight coming our way here in just a minute. We're going to have a mostly sunny and warm morning, but the clouds will move in a little earlier today and giving us a high chance of some rain. So let's detail that a little bit here. Take a look outside right now at the Denver area. You can see the glow of that morning starting to happen on the downtown Denver skyline. Temperature is about 64 degrees right now at Denver International Airport. Could drop down a few more degrees down to about 60 degrees before 8 o'clock this morning. And look at those dew points again, 52 degrees. It's going to be another kind of unusually muggy day on the Front Range for us, as it has been really since the end of spring. We've been having these high dew points this year, and that'll continue through the day. Here's the kind of the timeline for the Denver area. We'll see sunshine up until about noon. We'll get those clouds to build in, keep us probably in the middle 80s today. And then the highest chance for rain is between 3 and 5 today. So we could see a thunderstorm a little bit earlier than that in the Denver area. Here's our highs, our high temperatures forecast across the area today. Mostly 80s, a few 90s out there on the southeast plains, and a hot one out there on the western slope, 95 in Grand Junction and 100 degrees in Moab. Cool day in the mountains, 70 degrees today.
New overnight, a wanted man is in the hospital after a shooting involving North Glen police. It happened just after midnight. Officers got a call to respond to a neighborhood where someone who shouldn't have been there was wandering around. When they arrived, they found an armed man with multiple warrants. Little details are known right now, but we do know that one North Glen officer shot the suspect. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. The officer was not hurt and was placed on administrative leave with protocol. Also overnight, a man is facing attempted murder of 2 Larimer County deputies after a standoff at a self-storage complex. It happened near the Johnstown exit on I-25 just south of Loveland. Larimer County Sheriff's deputies located a wanted man barricaded inside a unit. He attempted to ram his way out by driving through the door and ramming into a deputy's vehicle, nearly hitting 2 deputies. They were not hurt, but 41-year-old Zachary Widener was taken into custody. He now faces 2 attempted murder charges of a peace officer and 6 additional charges. The State Department of Higher Education says it was the victim of a cyber attack, and the impacts are going far beyond college students. Now, there are still questions on what people have to do if they had their information stolen. Here's 9 News reporter Jennifer Meckles.
On June 19, 2023, the Colorado Department of Higher Education says it discovered a cyber attack that had happened sometime the week before. Data, including names, social security numbers, student identification records, and, quote, other educational records, were copied. The list of possibly impacted people is long. Anyone who went to a public college in Colorado between 2007 and 2020. Anyone who went to a public high school between 2004 and 2020. Plus, people with public school education licenses, those who participated in a certain tuition assistance, or got a GED. CDHE says it will reach out to people once its review is done. Officials would not comment today, citing, quote, an ongoing investigation.
Still no word on exactly how many people are impacted there. The department is offering free credit monitoring to anyone who may have been impacted. You'll have to enroll yourself. We have more details on our website and the 9 News app. The Denver Police Department is now investigating what happened inside a monitored seclusion room, that's what they're calling it, at McAuliffe International School. Denver School Board's Vice President Aonte Anderson reported the room to police, citing the state's mandatory reporting law. An anonymous whistleblower raised concerns with members of the Denver School Board, accusing McAuliffe's former principal of incarcerating kids. The district says they know of at least 3 students placed in the room during the last school year. At least one of those students was not under a personalized education plan. That's a requirement to put a child in a room like that. State law allows seclusion rooms as long as an adult is watching them through a window or video camera. The chair of the School of Psychology department at UNC in Greeley, the University of Northern Colorado, says these spaces should be a last resort if they're ever used.
The separate room should only happen under part of something that we call a behavior plan. And that's when we recognize that a child is going to be dangerous unless we remove them from all other people and remove potentially dangerous objects.
New Colorado law will require schools to report how often they restrain and use rooms like those starting this school year. On Monday, the school board is planning to share new details about what they learned so far at McAuliffe. Yesterday was the first time Denver swept away a homeless camp under new Mayor Mike Johnston. Johnston's administration is calling it decommissioning of an encampment. It happened at 22nd and Stout near downtown. People living there told us this sweep felt different from sweeps under the previous mayor because their stuff was not thrown out right away. Many people still don't have a place to go right now.
But as far as where we'll actually be, I couldn't tell you right now. These aren't throwaway people out here. It's just that they got some bad breaks and made their choice why they're out here. It's no one's position to like judge because they don't know our story, you know, or our reasoning.
Mayor Johnston has declared a state of emergency for homelessness. He says his team is working on more permanent housing to help people after their camps are cleared. Weld County's Department of Health reported a death from West Nile virus, the first in Colorado so far this year. The department says a 53-year-old was hospitalized and died from a neuroinvasive form of the virus. The state health department says 12 Coloradans across 8 counties have been sick so far this year with West Nile. 3 of them were hospitalized and 2 had neurological symptoms. Mosquito testing has identified the virus in counties across the Front Range. An expert at UC Health says these tests make a big difference in helping to stop the spread of the virus.
It shows the importance here of public health surveillance programs and vector control programs like mosquito control programs. When they work, most people don't realize that they're working, but they're so important, particularly when there's a lot of West Nile and mosquito-borne disease out there.
Dr. Daniel Pastulo from UC Health says most people who get the virus don't actually get sick, but those who do will see symptoms anywhere from 2 to 14 days after the mosquito bite. Boulder County leaders are pushing forward on a new bike lane for the road where a young cyclist was killed just last week. 17-year-old Magnus White was riding on the shoulder of Highway 119 in Boulder when a driver hit him from behind. Magnus was an incredible young rider competing with the USA cycling team and training for an upcoming competition in Scotland. No charges have been filed against the driver of the car that hit him, but Colorado State Patrol has said they don't believe the drugs or alcohol were involved. Boulder County is planning a separated bikeway along Highway 119. Construction for that is expected to start next year.
It keeps us again out of the intersections, which is where a lot of accidents takes place when you are riding your bike. It's so logical to have a route that's safe there.
Transportation planners say they welcome any other suggestions to increase road safety in the county. Former President Donald Trump pleaded not guilty yesterday to the charges that were filed against him last week. A grand jury in Washington, D.C. returned an indictment against him in the classified documents case. That makes it twice in the past 48 hours that Trump has entered not guilty pleas. He was in a D.C. courtroom earlier this week on election subversion charges. He was not in court yesterday. He entered a not guilty plea through a court filing. The charges filed last week by special counsel Jack Smith include charges of obstruction and keeping national defense information. Trump previously faced 37 charges relating to the classified documents case. Some big medical news on the medical front. The FDA has approved the first pill for postpartum depression. The pill is taken once a day for 2 weeks. Until now, the only FDA-approved drug for postpartum depression was a treatment given through an IV and required a hospital stay. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression, help is available at 24/7. Colorado Crisis Services are available around the clock. You can call or text them on the number of your screen or call 988. 2 lawmakers, 2 parts of the so-called Tennessee Three, who got expelled from the Tennessee state legislature earlier this year, now have their state house seats back. Tennessee Democratic Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson won back their legislative seats in a special election. They were expelled earlier this year after holding a gun control protest on the House floor. Their white colleague, Gloria Johnson, who also participated, was not expelled. As the summer heats up, the job market around the country is cooling down a bit. The U.S. added 187,000 jobs in July. Should say just 187,000 jobs, because people who know this type of stuff expected that it would go up a little bit more. That's according to data released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's less than economists were expecting, but unemployment is also down. That's a good thing. It tipped down, I should say, to 3.5%, a small drop from the previous 3.6%.